All right. So, hi everyone. I hope you all are doing good. You all are great. And I welcome you all on our another video, which is specifically going to be on a very, very important topic. And it's a part of our social issue as well. Okay. So now we will analyze another report, another year's report since it's an annual report, and we will now analyze the data on food prices and that too at a global perspective, at macro perspective. Okay, so in this particular video we are going to see that what is the level of food prices, has it increased over the period of time or decreased, and why the analysis of this particular report is important, because it will give you an exact clarity of the things when it comes on to the people. That is when we get to know about the real development of any of the economy or any of the country. The social issues we have, either it can be food crisis or poverty or employment or hunger and many more. So these are the things which gives you proper and I would say exact data on if any of the country is improving over the period of time or not. So that is the reason we have this report which specifically focuses on the food crisis. Okay, and that is the reason it is very, very important for all of us to analyze it first, and then why, the second thing why it is important, because it will also give analysis to the various governments, like to the various countries governments, that where are you lacking behind, what is the number which is associated with your economy, and where do you need to work more. So that is what we are going to see in this particular video, in this particular lecture. And also, since it's a social issue, also if a question is asked, you can just quote this data and you can just refer it. Okay, so now one by one we will see entire solutions, entire problem that is there. Also we will see what is the situation, what is the situation of the global economy. Are we at a better situation or the situation is getting worse or what? So yes, just starting with it. So this is completely going to be a very, very colorful lecture, because I have taken less data and more as in the form of words. I've taken more pictures, I've taken more I've just tried to make this particular lecture more colorful in nature, so that you people uh, you know try to remember the data, and also it should become very, very easy to for all of you here to compare the data correctly. Okay, so this will give you more what to call it, grabbing power, you can say. If you want to retain the data in your mind, this will help you out. Okay, so now you can see that we are going to see the first GRFC. What is that? Global Report on Food Crisis. So I've already told you that this is an annual report which focuses on the food crisis, and that too at a global level. It tells us that what is the position of your country, what is the position of Europe, what is the position of Africa, what is the position of Asia, and other areas as well. Okay, so it provides what? It provides us an in-depth analysis of food and nutrition crisis. That in your country, how many people are still in comes under the category of food crisis, how many other people who are just surviving through this particular situation, and what all you need to do, how your policy should be framed so that you can do better in the coming times. Okay, it also examines the acute food shortage or acute food security. So what is the meaning of acute food security here? If there is any individual who is not able to get food for the sustenance, the one comes under this category. Okay, and it is very important that we take care of it, as in we have to frame our policies in a manner that it is very, very helpful, and it is completely pro, and I would say people centric. It is completely towards providing the various benefits. Now if you want to connect it with the India's policies, what India is doing exactly towards the eradication of hunger, nutritious crisis that the global economies has, you can just write that particular those steps which have been taken by the government of India as well. Okay, so here you can just see the food that government is providing at a very, very affordable rate, as in rice maybe of I think it is 2 or 1, right? Wheat for maybe 1 or 2 rupee only. And then we have coarse grain that is just for 3 rupee. So you can just quote this data in your notebooks and maybe in your notes, so that you can just see that what is government of India doing to promote, to ensure food security in India. Okay, it also presents, and it also tells us that the problem of food security and malnutrition among among the residents and also forcibly displaced populations as well. Okay, so we are considering the entire people in a comprehensive manner. We are taking residents and we are taking into consideration forcibly displaced population as well, and how they get into this category. If displacement, that is forcible displacement, impacting the people to come under the category of food crisis or not. So this is also we are going to see. Also, it presents the immediate and underlying drivers of the food nutrition crisis, and analyzes the 9 years of acute food security trends. So we'll just analyze that, when we started with it, what was the situation and where we are now. Okay, we call of AI, we talk about robotics, we talk about the Internet of Things, but when it comes on to providing food, which is a very, very basic thing, are we good at it or not? Okay. Similarly, it also advocates the time to response and offers a large insights into immediate and medium term risk to the vulnerable population as well. How is it produced? So you can just see that it was a result of a collaborative efforts from most of the nations, as in from the UN agencies, regional intergovernmental bodies, donors, and technical organizations and clusters as well, and they are totally working together to deliver what consensus based analysis that guides effective humanitarian and developmental interventions. So that it tells the public, it tells the government of the various nations that what you need to do to make your people come out of these many situations. We will also see that one impact that is there, and one of the after effects of any of the factor behind it, that is maybe the war or the tussle or the geopoliticals as well. Okay, so we are just going to analyze all of these conditions also. Considering that these are the 65, I know that you people will not be able to see it very clearly, but in the report has been given that 65 territories were selected for the GRF FC 2025, and out of these 65 countries and territories selected, 53 had data meetings with the technical requirements as well. So this is a very, very basic thing that we have. Okay, now the countries which are in blue one, which are in light green one, and sea green one, we'll see what does it say. So in the dark blue one, the countries have been selected because they are required external assistance for food and or the safe shocks as assessed by this organization. Similarly, the one in light blue, the countries have been selected for having what humanitarian response plan. Similarly, in the sea green color, low or upper low middle income countries, territories not selected for the analysis, but who either requested external assistance in response to experienced shocks or shocks to food security from the conflict and insecurity, weather extremes or economic shocks, had an influx of refugees, had over 1 million or 20% of the country's population which is forcibly displaced. Okay, so this is what does the data says and the factors behind it. So the first chapter is on global overview. Okay, so the first this picture that you see on your screen says that in 2024 more than 294 people in 53 countries, territories have been experiencing what high levels of acute food security. This is the data, what it exactly says, the situation or the year of 2024. So this says that more than 294 people, considering 53 countries or territories, these are the people, these are the countries where people are experiencing high level of acute food security. And also we saw that in Sudan, food, or I would say famine, was also confirmed right from 2024. This is what we are going to see in the coming period of time. The first time it was seen in 2020 globally. Okay, so now moving towards the next of the things. So here we talk about the worst food crisis in 2024. So the countries and the territories with the largest numbers and the share of the people facing what high level of acute food securities and food insecurities as well. Okay, so here they've considered most of the our countries here. So firstly, we're going to talk about Afghanistan. It's a part of it. Sudan and Syria, Arab Republic, Yemen were among the countries with the both the highest numbers as well as shares as well. And we had these countries also who were in both of the categories, in the highest and in the share of people. We had some countries who were solely in the numbers. We had some countries who were solely in the share, and those countries who were in the both of the categories. So this is what we are going to see in the coming a kind of a chart that we have. So the gray will denote numbers, the sea green color will denote share, and the little dark green color will show what number and share. Okay, so here you see when it comes on to number and share, like both. So we have the one in what your the third category, right? So number along with the shares. So we have Sudan, we have Yemen, Afghanistan, Syrian Republic, Arab Republic as well. Now solely considering the numbers, so we have countries like Nigeria, Democratic Republic of the Congo, Bangladesh, Ethiopia, Myanmar, and Pakistan is also part of it when it comes on to the 10 countries with the largest numbers of the people who are facing what high levels of acute food insecurity. Next, coming on to the shares, coming on to the largest share. So we have Palestine, that is Gaza Strip, Sudan, South Sudan, Haiti, Namibia, and then Central Africa Republic and Zambia is also a part of it. So this is what, when it comes on to largest share of the people, so it is a part of it. These many countries, those are 10 countries who are a part of it. Then when it comes on to acute food insecurity trends 2016 and 2024, so it says that over the period of time the situation is just increasing. We've not seen less than numbers, rather it is increasing over the period of time. If you compare since 2016, what was the case at that particular period of time? We were at 1,052.2 million. Now if you compare it with today, that is 2024, so we are at what? The numbers we have is 295.3 million. Comparing that, the situation or the numbers are continuously getting increased. These are not getting decreased, and that is that is something not good. That shows us the worst part. So the number of people which are facing high levels of acute food security almost have been tripled. Okay, considering that the situation, or I would say the data which is in the yellow one, if you were able to see here, that shows us what? None, minimal, and the stressed one. So it is also increased over the period of time, right? When it comes on to the red one, so this is the phase 3 plus, crisis or worse or equivalent. And similarly, the one in when I talk about this particular line with particular dots, this shows the share of population, and the gray one, total population. So here we've considered 53 countries, out of which we see what happened. Okay, we will this. Okay, out of which we see that we see the numbers, and we see that 22.6% is in this category. Okay, the share of the analyzed population facing three conditions have almost doubled, and these crises are due to what? Expanded of the convergence, as well as the intensified conflicts, geopolitical tensions which are going on. Maybe your forcible displacement is also a part of it, and also economic shocks and weather shocks also contributes in this fire. Okay, then this is the number of people who are facing high level of acute food short insecurity, and this is the data, and that is in front of you. Okay, then we have countries, territories with the largest number of people facing high level of acute food securities, as in food insecurities, right, from 2016 till 2024. So what is the 24 situation? We are at 295.3 million. And who has the highest contribution here? Nigeria is the one, followed by Sudan, Democratic Republic of the Congo, Bangladesh, Ethiopia, Yemen, Afghanistan, Myanmar, Pakistan, and Syrian Arab Republic. Next, what it says, the severity of the acute food insecurity 2024. So this says that out of 295.3 million people who are facing high levels of acute food insecurity, 227.1 million were in 40 countries, territories with IPCCH methodology. Now, telling you about the IPC, this is Integrated Food Security Phase Classification, Cadre Harmonize. Now, this is a kind of a methodology which entirely tells you about the severity of the food crisis that we have, and it tells you about the exact data कि इसमें जो डेप्थ है वो कितनी है, ठीक है. For the remaining 62.8, sorry, 68.2 million, the disaggregation by phase is not available. So this is the data that that it shows. You can just have a look at it. Now talking about the famine, so it was confirmed for the first period of time in since 2020. Now what does Sudan say? In the Sudan, famine was confirmed in Zamzam camp, North Darfur, in July 2024. It was identified in 4 more areas of the country from October to November. And also it was projected in another 5 from December to 24 and to May 2025 as well. And 17 additional areas also were the one who faced risk of the famine during this period. So it is also one of the factors which is contributing towards the food crisis. That is the reason it is very, very important to consider what famine. In Palestine, 1 minute. In Palestine, it was projected, the famine was projected in 2024. This is what I was talking about when I talked about the Sudan, like the other nations as well. It was averted due to scale up of the humanitarian response. However, if the large scale military operations, and when I talk about the humanitarian and commercially blockade continue, the acute food insecurity, malnutrition, mortality will surpass famine threshold during May to September 2025. So it says that if the tussle continues, we will see that people will get more into it. Now the data that we have is on households have an extreme lack of food and of other basic needs as well. Starvation, death, destitution, and extremely critical acute malnutrition levels are evident in nature. So you can just see that the countries with the population which is projected to be catastrophe, when I specifically talk about the catastrophe, this tells us what the disastrous situation and the widespread of the disaster that we have. So it's a situation that is seen there. Similarly, when I talk about the countries, 5 countries who are a part of it, so this is Gaza Strip, Sudan, South Sudan, Haiti, and Mali. Okay, then we have the number of people in the catastrophe 2016 to 2024. Okay, so you can just see the situation that in 2024, where are we? The data says, you can just see the data, 19,049, 19,49,000. And when you compare it, so this is so drastically has been increased. So the number of people in catastrophe has been increased over the period of time, and the reason behind it can be due to political tensions and the forcible displacements as well. Countries with over 1 million of people in emergency are 2 on peak. Sudan is the one who's highly contributed here, followed by Afghanistan, Democratic Republic of Congo, Myanmar, South Sudan, and similarly Pakistan, Haiti, Bangladesh, and Yemen are the one. Number of people who are in emergency. So in 2024, we saw that 35.1 million, is the contribution here. And when we compare it with 2016 to 2024, in 2021, we saw 39.2 something. But now we see that, the highest one was in 2021. Lowest than that was in 2023, and then we are on what we are 2024 is on the 3rd number. Next, we have countries and territories with the highest number of people in crisis. So Nigeria may we have what, when it comes on to catastrophes, or when it comes on to the other things, as in specifically taking care of emergencies, 1 million. Okay, and when it comes on to crisis, specifically crisis, so 30.8 million. Democratic Republic of the Congo, 22.4 million. Bangladesh, 21.9 million. Sudan, 16.3 million. Afghanistan, 12.3 million. Myanmar, 12 million. Pakistan, 9.6 million. So this is what the data says. Number of people in crisis right from 2016 and 2024. We see in 2024 the numbers are lying at 190 million. Countries and territories with the highest number of people in stressed 2024 peak. So Nigeria is the one which comes under this category, the stressed one. Then about the crisis, with the numbers we have is 31.8 million, and in the stressed one we have 82.7 million. Similar is the case with Democratic Republic of Congo, Bangladesh, Myanmar, Afghanistan, Sudan, and Pakistan. Although we see that comparable to Nigeria, the numbers are not equal into it, but still they are in the worst situation. Then the number of people in the stressed 2016 to 2024. So the case of 2024 is what? 344.7 million. Who are the drivers of acute food insecurity? So I've already told you that the conflicts, the insecurity among the people that is going on. If you talk about the, Israel-Gaza war that was taking place, similarly, Russia-Ukraine war, that is another part of it. So it is the one which is just pushing people towards this, acute food insecurity. So 20 countries and territories where 139.8 million people faced high levels of acute food shortage is the one among 53 countries. Similarly, weather extremes is another part of it and is another driver here. 18 countries where 96.1 million people faced high level of acute food insecurity. And when it comes on to economic shocks, so we see 15 countries where 59.4 million people faced high levels of acute food insecurity. So this is what number says. Okay. Now, when I talk about the trends in the primary drivers, right, from 2018 till 2024. So the diversity and convergence of shocks says that they've experienced by households, communities, and countries also, which show a breadth and challenges ahead of us to build their resilience. Okay, still the conflict also dominates the situation, and it can be a main driver for large number of societies and the large number of people as well. Now, when I talk about the acute malnutrition, so it's 37.7 children with acute malnutrition is the case. In 26 countries, territories with a nutritious food crisis in 2024, most of the children were in the countries that were among the 10 with the largest food crisis. Now, considering about the exact data here, so among 27.7 people, 10.2 million children with severe acute malnutrition, and we have 27.4 million people, children with moderate acute malnutrition as well. Okay, now this is not the full stop here. The situation has been extended more. It is in pregnant and breastfeeding mothers as well, the problem of acute malnutrition. So we see the numbers as 10.9 million. Okay, so in 21 countries with nutritious crisis and available data in 2024, a third of them were in Democratic Republic of Congo, while I talk about Ethiopia, the Sudan, Afghanistan, and South Sudan, each had over 1 million. The most severe nutrition crisis 2024. So when I talk about the Sudan, so famine was identified in the state, in the area that I've already told you, and it is in the worst situation among the young children have been surged after the conflict began. Similarly, when I talk about Palestine, the Gaza Strip, the situation is also very worse here in the North Gaza. The global acute malnutrition problem, it is more among children under 2 years old, reached 30% by February 2024. Okay. Next we have is Yemen, which is extremely critical in nature. Then we have Mali, which is what again has been classified in extremely critical. Okay. Then we have the four most severe nutritional crisis 2024. So what are the contributing factors here? So I have already told you that the conflict between many of the nations that is here, it is one of the major contributing factor behind it. Similarly, insecurity and widespread flooding have limited access to the essential resources, services, and heighten the health crisis as well. Okay. Next we have is the other when you talk about the factors behind it. So one, we have food path. So a key risk factor that is the widespread, that is lack of minimum acceptable diets among children who are aged between 6 to 23 of months, and also with the many consuming 4 or fewer food groups daily. It's a classified level classified as child food poverty, which raises their risk of acute malnutrition by 50%. And this is more severe in the areas of Palestine, Gaza, and your Somalia, Afghanistan, and Ethiopia as well. Similarly, considering health pathways, so diarrhea, cholera are the outbreaks here which have posed health risks in 18 countries. When you talk about an example here, so Yemen and Afghanistan are having what global cholera vaccine shortage, which has hindered the efforts here. Okay, the control efforts. Similarly, taking care of care and services delivery. So we are still lacking behind in the availability of vaccine. So considering low, your measles vaccine, we are low here, and we need to improve it over the period of time. Similarly, displacement. So 95.8 billion people has been forcibly displaced here, out of which your 24 million are the refugees and asylum seekers in 51 countries, and 71.8 m are the IDPs in 32 countries and territories as well. Acute food security in the displacement. So most of the world's forcibly displaced people are concentrated in the countries with the food crisis. So that is the reason we see increase in the numbers. Okay. Second chapter talks about the regional overview. So we will now see about the Africa, Central and Southern conditions as well. So similarly, taking into consideration that what is the total number, so 56 million people or 25% of the analyzed population have faced the high level of acute food security in 2024 in 12 countries with a food crisis. Now, what are the drivers here? One is conflict. The escalating conflict in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo is projected to risk or result in a marked deterioration in acute food insecurity in 2025. Then we have weather extremes. So of course, when it comes on to the states of emergency that have been declared, it is Lesotho, Namibia, your Nambia, similarly Malawi, Zambia, and Zimbabwe as well. Take it. Next, we have economic shocks. So the drought include what? Declines in the agricultural products. So of course, over the period of time, we see that proper spillover effect says what? That one sector, if impacted, it will put impact on the other sectors as well. So economic shocks. Then we have the number of children who are aged 6 to 9 months, 6 to 59 months with acute malnutrition in two nutritional crisis 2024. So out of 5.2 million acutely malnutrition children, 1.6 million acute malnutrition children we have, and similarly 3.6 million are moderate acutely malnutrition children. Okay. Then when I talk about the displacement here, so 10.0 million, that is 10 million have been displaced people, out of which 12%, that is 1.1 million, are the refugees and the asylum seekers in 12 countries. Similarly, talking about 88%. One second. 88%. That is 8.9 million IDPs in the 4 countries. Okay. Then talking about the share of analyzed population that are facing high levels of acute food insecurity in 2024 has been peaked. So here you see Central African Republic with 41% and Nambia has 41% when it comes on to share of analyzed population. Then followed by Zambia, Zimbabwe, Congo, Malawi, Lesotho, your Eswatini, then your Mozambique, Democratic Republic of Congo, Madagascar, and United Republic of Tanzania and Congo as well. Then we have data on Africa and East. So 65.5 million other people, or 24.5% of the analyzed population, faced what? High levels of food insecurity in 2024 in 8 countries with a food crisis. Now, what are the factors behind it? What are the drivers? So conflict, again, in Sudan, a dire humanitarian emergency persists here. And similarly, talking about the other things which have already vulnerable to the areas of Chad and South Sudan, and also talking about the localized conflicts and insecurity continue to drive what? Displacement. Okay. Economic shocks are also a part of it. So it has reduced what? Oil, since there is a reduction in the oil exports, insecurity, currency weakness, and flood related trade disruptions that are there, it is worsening the situation in the South Sudan. Weather extremes here. So particularly in the part of Somalia are the key areas of what? Kenya and Ethiopia. They are resulting in a low cereal production, just an impact of the weather extreme conditions that we have. Specifically talking about the number of child aged right from 6 to 59 of months, what is the kind of food nutrition security that is there? So 12.2 m is the case here, out of which 25 million are severely acutely undernourished, malnourished children. And when I talk about the 75% of the thing, so 9.2 million moderately acute malnutrition children that we have. Then about the displacement, so 24.5 2 million is the data, out of which 5.2 million refugees and asylum seekers in 8 countries we have, and 18.9 million IDPs in 8 countries. About the Sudan crisis 2024. So Sudan had become what one of the most severe food crises in the IPC history, with widespread destitution and a major surge in acute malnutrition. So it's a complete sign towards the government, towards the governance of that area, that we need to continuously work towards it. Then, considering the region of Africa West and the Sahel, okay, so 51.6 million people, or 14% of the analyzed population, face the high security, high as in levels of acute food insecurity. 1 minute. Food insecurity, in the 2024, and 13 countries are there with the food crisis. Okay, what are the drivers of acute food insecurity? What are the drivers of food insecurity? So conflict and insecurity, that is the one, that is a common factor in each and every region that we have. So when I talk about the violence, it has continued over the period of time, it has expanded. And when we talk about the Benin, Togo, so the refugees and the returnees fleeing in Sudan continue arriving in the east, where there is a need, are critically getting, are getting already critical. Similarly, talking about the economic shocks that we have, so despite there persists high inflation, especially in the areas of Nigeria, and Sierra Leone is the one. Okay. Then when I talk about the weather extremes, of course, we are getting worse in here as well. Dry spells are the one, and floods are the one which we see in these many regions. Specifically, we are expecting to negatively impact the recovery in Chad, Mali, Niger, Nigeria, Senegal as well. Now, when I talk about the number of children with the acute malnutrition, so the cases, the data says 11.9 million acutely malnutrition children, out of which 29% is 3.5 million severely acutely malnutrition children, and 71% is 8.4 million, that is moderately acutely malnutrition children. Total, when it comes on to the displacement part, so 10.3 million is the one. 26%, that is 2.7 million. And when you talk about 7.7%, so that comes under the category of IDPs in 7 countries. Conflict in West Africa and Sahel. Then we have the area of Asia. So in Asia, 65.9 million, or 29% of the analyzed population is in this category. No data is available for Democratic Republic of Korea. What are the drivers behind it? So we have conflict. Recently, you would have seen the earthquake in the region of Myanmar. That is that has impacted a lot on the people and the economy as well. Similarly, weather extremes, specifically the after effects of El Nino and La Nina as well. By the end of 2024, that was that had entirely impacted the agriculture in the primary sector as well. Economic shocks. So rice prices in the Asia that has reached 15 years of high in mid 2024. El Nino, reduced rice production, and also these are the factors which are contributing here. Specifically talking about the children acute malnutrition thing, so we have 5.6 million which is acutely malnutrition children, out of which 1.5 million is the case of severely acutely malnutrition children, and out of which 74% is 4.1 million which is moderately acutely malnutrition children. Okay. Similarly, talking about the displacement, so we have 11.9 million people, out of which 24 are refugees and asylum seekers, and 76 percent is what your IDPs in the 3 countries. Now, taking into consideration the area, the region of Europe, Ukraine and Moldova. So what are the drivers here? सबसे पहले तो the Ukraine's intensified conflict, the tussle which was going on, economic shock. So of course it is bad. It has badly impacted the area of Ukraine, the people of there, the people who are living there. So cost of living has been rising since the war was going on. The cost of living has been rising. Weather extremes are also a part of it. Then we have Latin America and Caribbean. So the situation says that 19.7 million people, or 20% of the total population, face high levels of food insecurity in 6 countries. What are the drivers here? So conflict. Okay, one is the conflict. So worsening the insecurity and sustained economic decline in Haiti, and along with the ongoing conflict that is there, is contributing here. Okay, weather extremes, that is also a part of it. So below average rainfall that we forecast through 2025, May 2025, in the pass of Guatemala, Honduras, and Nicaragua as well, while Haiti is expected to receive above average rainfalls. Okay, economic shocks, economic shocks are also contributing here. When I talk about child acute malnutrition, so 0.3 million are acutely malnutrition children, out of which 33%, which is just 0.1 million, are severely acute, and 0.2% are moderately acutely malnutrition children. What is the total number of displacement? So 11.8 displaced people, out of which 828 are refugees, 72 are the IDPs in 5 countries. Now taking into consideration Middle East, that is North Africa. Okay, so 31.5 million people, or 44% of the analyzed population, face high levels of food insecurity. What are the drivers? So again, conflict, Gaza Strip, economic shocks, the food insecurity that was there across the areas of Yemen, Syrian, Arab Republic, and also the weather conditions have also highly contributed here. Talking about the children, so we have 2.5 million as acutely malnutrition children, out of which 28% are 0.5, out of which 28%, that is 0.6 million, are severely acutely malnutrition children, and 72% are moderately. Okay, then about the displacement, so 23.9 million is the exact data that we have, out of which 8.8 million are the refugees, and 15.1 million are the IDPs in 5 countries. Okay, so that is what about the entire the entire report. So we had a crux of it. We've seen the data of the entire regions that we have, that is discussed in this particular report. So we saw through this particular report that after an impact of aftermaths of conflict, economic shocks, and the when I talk about the extreme weather conditions as well, it has highly contributed towards pushing people towards a food insecurity thing, and that too acute in nature. So also it will tell individuals that it will tell the governments of both the entire nations that how you need to go with this and what you need to rectify in it. Okay, so I hope each and everything is clear to all of you here, and that is it in today's video. I hope you've liked it. If you have any doubt, you can just write that in the comment section. I will surely solve your doubt here. So thank you so much for joining the lecture. I'll meet you in the next one. Till then, take care and keep revising. Thank you.